An 82-year-old veteran enters Judge Caprio's courtroom to address what seems like a routine parking ticket. But when he rolls up his sleeves and reveals a secret he's carried for 6 decades, Judge Caprio makes a decision no other judge in American history has ever made. What unfolds next is beyond anything you've seen before. This moment stunned millions online, moved countless viewers to tears, and even influenced legal reforms across several states. Before we dive in, remember, only 4% of you watching are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss incredible stories like this one, because by the end of this video you'll see exactly why this moment in a small Providence courtroom became one of the most shared videos in internet history. It's a chilly Tuesday morning in February, and the Providence Municipal Court is running its usual schedule. Judge Frank Caprio, the 76-year-old known globally for his compassion and fairness, is overseeing a typical docket: parking tickets, traffic violations, and minor municipal cases. At exactly 10:15 a.m., the courtroom doors open slowly and in walks. 82-year-old Robert "Tank" Johnson walks carefully toward the stand, his cane tapping gently with each slow, deliberate step. A thick winter coat wraps around him, even though the courtroom is warm. His hands tremble slightly as he removes his military-style cap. On the surface, this appears to be a simple matter: a $75 parking ticket for stopping in a handicapped space without displaying the permit. It's the kind of case that should take only a few minutes to handle. Pay the fine, explain the situation, and move on. But before we go any further, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your city and country in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to see how far this story will travel. Are you tuning in from New York, London, or maybe Tokyo? Let me know down there. As Tank steps up to the defendant's stand, Judge Caprio immediately spots something most people would overlook. Despite being 82, relying on a cane, and showing the natural frailty of age, there's a quiet strength in Tank's posture that commands respect. The man stands tall with flawless military posture, shoulders back, chin up, eyes fixed ahead. His bearing leaves no doubt: once a Marine, always a Marine. Robert Johnson, the court clerk announces from the docket. Tank, as he's known, steps forward as steadily as he can, leaning on his cane for support. Judge Caprio glances from the paperwork to the man before him, his familiar, compassionate expression softening the moment. "Mr. Johnson," the judge begins in a calm yet formal tone, "you're charged with parking in a handicapped space without displaying your permit. The incident occurred on February 8th at around 2 p.m. outside the Veterans Administration Medical Center. The fine is $75. Tank nods respectfully. "Yes, Your Honor." Judge Caprio continues, "I see here that you're 82 years old. Do you have a handicap permit, Mr. Johnson?" When Tank replies, his voice carries the distinct command and precision of a man who's lived by discipline. "Yes, Your Honor, I do. I just forgot to hang it up that day." Now, Judge Caprio has served for over 3 decades, and he's heard this exact explanation countless times. Normally, he'd verify the permit, possibly reduce the fine if the person truly has one, and proceed to the next case, routine, straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary. But there was something about Tank's tone, his choice of words, his calm yet heavy demeanor, that made Judge Caprio stop and observe more closely. "Mr. Johnson, can you tell me about your disability? Help me understand why you need the handicap permit." Tank shifts uneasily in his seat. His gaze drops to his hands, then drifts around the courtroom before finally returning to the judge. For a long pause, he says nothing. "I'd rather not talk about it, Your Honor," he finally replies. Judge Caprio sets his pen down, an unmistakable sign that the conversation is shifting from legal procedure to genuine human understanding. Leaning forward, his voice softens, carrying both empathy and respect. "Mr. Johnson, I can tell you're a proud man. You hold yourself with confidence and grace. But I also sense you're facing something difficult." Then, in a gesture that defines his compassionate approach, Judge Caprio rises from the bench and steps forward, removing the distance between judge and defendant, turning a courtroom exchange into a moment of shared humanity. "Tank," the judge says, using what's clearly a nickname. The word catches Tank's attention immediately. "May I call you Tank? I can tell you served in the military. The way you stand, the discipline in your posture. Which branch were you in?" Tank's demeanor changes instantly. His chest lifts, his stance grows even more upright. And for the first time since stepping into the courtroom, a faint, proud smile appears on his weathered face. "United States Marine Corps, Your Honor," he replies with pride. "3 tours of duty." 3 tours, Judge Caprio repeats thoughtfully. "That's a remarkable record of service. Tank, would you share where you served?" Tank takes a steady breath before answering. "Vietnam from 1968 to 1970. Later, Iraq from 2004 to 2005, and Afghanistan from 2007 to 2008. Wait a second, did you catch that? This 82-year-old veteran didn't just serve in Vietnam in his 20s. After decades of civilian life and even retirement, he chose to return to active duty, first in Iraq in his 60s, then in Afghanistan in his 70s. If this story moves you, if you can feel the depth of this man's sacrifice and dedication, please take a moment to like this video. It helps share Tank's incredible story with others who should hear it. Judge Caprio sits quietly for a moment, visibly touched by the veteran's words. Surprised? "Tank, you served our nation in 3 separate wars over 4 decades. Yes, sir. Truly, thank you for your service. That level of commitment is remarkable." Judge Caprio's tone carries deep respect as he continues. "Tank, can you tell me why you need the handicapped permit?" "How can I assist you today?" Tank glances around the courtroom. Around 30 people fill the gallery. Other defendants waiting their turn, court officers, a few reporters, and some family members. His hands tremble slightly as he tightens his grip on his cane. "Your Honor, it's complicated." Judge Caprio takes a step closer, his voice calm and reassuring. "Tank, we're all friends here. There's no judgment in this courtroom. Please tell me what's going on." Tank inhales deeply, the longest breath he's taken since entering the room. Slowly, almost hesitantly, he begins to roll up the sleeves of his thick coat. What the courtroom sees next leaves everyone in complete silence. Tank's arms are covered in deep, uneven scars, reminders of shrapnel wounds from battles fought many years ago. But that's not what makes Judge Caprio's eyes widen in disbelief. Etched along Tank's right forearm, stretching from wrist to elbow, is a tattoo unlike any typical military design. It's not an eagle, an anchor, or even a flag. Instead, it's a list, a long, somber list of names written in small, careful letters. "Tank," Judge Caprio says softly, his tone almost reverent. "What do those names represent?" For the first time, Tank's voice trembles. After decades of carrying this weight in silence, after years of concealing it beneath long sleeves and winter jackets, he finally decides to speak his truth. "They're my brothers, Your Honor," he says quietly. "Every Marine I lost under my command. 47 names from 3 different wars. I take them with me everywhere I go." The courtroom falls utterly silent. You could hear a pin drop. Even the officers who have seen it all are wiping their eyes. Other defendants sit frozen, overcome with respect. The court reporter's fingers hover above the keyboard, too moved to type. But Tank still has more to share. His story isn't over yet. The handicapped permit, Your Honor. It's not just for physical injuries. My legs aren't what they used to be, and my back is worn out from years of carrying heavy gear. But that's not the main reason I need it. It's for the days when the memories are too overwhelming to manage. When I'm in a parking lot fighting a panic attack and I need to get inside quickly before I break down in public. When flashbacks hit so hard that I can't walk straight, can't think clearly, can't even remember where I am or what year it is. Judge Caprio's eyes well with emotion. "Tank, are you saying you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder after serving in 3 different wars?" "Yes, sir," Tank replies. "Most days I'm okay. I get up, make my coffee, do my therapy, and go about my day. But some days, the memories come back. The sounds of mortars, the smell of gunpowder and blood, the faces of my men who didn't make it home. That parking ticket you're holding. Your Honor, February 8th was one of those bad days. I was outside the VA hospital, trapped in a flashback so vivid I thought I was back in Fallujah. My only focus was getting to my therapy appointment before I lost control. I forgot about the parking permit, the rules, everything, except trying to get help." What Judge Caprio does next defies courtroom convention. His response breaks tradition and creates a moment that will be remembered in legal history. Slowly and deliberately he rises, walks over to Tank, and begins removing his black judicial robe. Judge Caprio looks at him intently. "I want you to put this on right here in the courtroom." Tank's eyes widen in disbelief. "Your Honor, I can't do that. That's your robe. I'm just a defendant. Judge Caprio's tone softens but remains resolute. You're not just a defendant, Tank. You're not just anything. Put on the robe, Marine. With trembling hands, Tank lets Judge Caprio place the heavy black robe over his shoulders. It hangs loosely on his frail frame, yet somehow wearing it makes him appear stronger, more dignified. Then, Judge Caprio does something no one expects. Standing in his shirt sleeves in his own courtroom, he raises his hand and salutes Robert Tank Johnson. A federal judge saluting a defendant before the entire court. Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Caprio declares, his voice echoing through the packed room. This is what true American heroism looks like. This man volunteered to serve our nation not once, not twice, but 3 separate times, over 6 decades of his life. He carries the names of his fallen brothers on his skin and their memories in his heart. His sacrifices are the reason we can stand here free today. Most of us can't even begin to imagine what he's been through. And yet he came here today worried about a simple $75 parking ticket. The entire courtroom rises to its feet, many with tears in their eyes. Some salute alongside Judge Caprio, while others clap in unison. Even the court officers join in. The applause fills the room for nearly 2 full minutes. Tank stands motionless, tears tracing down his weathered face, overwhelmed by an acknowledgement he never sought and likely feels he hasn't earned. But Judge Caprio isn't done. Tank, he says, not only am I dismissing this fine entirely, but I'm making you an honorary member of this court. Anytime you need help, anytime the memories become too heavy, anytime the system lets you down, you call us. This courtroom will always stand with you. And those 47 names on your arm, Tank, they're not just your burden anymore. Everyone in this courtroom family is here to help you carry that weight. Let's pause for just a second. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now's the perfect time. We share stories like this, stories that redefine what real heroism looks like and remind us that kindness and compassion still exist in the world. This channel is here to highlight humanity at its best, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. What happened after this video went online is a powerful reminder of how deeply people care. Within just 24 hours, the clip reached over 5 million views. By the second day, Tank had received more than 10,000 letters from veterans, active duty service members, and civilians across the globe, all expressing gratitude for his courage and sacrifice. A GoFundMe campaign launched by a stranger raised over $500,000 to support veteran PTSD initiatives in Tank's honor. Soon after, 3 major companies, IBM, Microsoft, and General Motors, personally reached out to him, offering consulting roles to help them improve programs that assist their veteran employees. The Department of Veterans Affairs used Tank's story to introduce a new campaign focused on raising awareness about mental health services for veterans, but here's the most remarkable part. 6 months later, Tank returned to Judge Caprio's courtroom, not as a defendant this time, but as a volunteer counselor. He now helps fellow veterans navigate the legal system and access the resources available to them. Tank told reporters, Judge Caprio didn't just dismiss a parking ticket that day. He reminded me that my service mattered, that my brothers who never made it home mattered, and that I wasn't just some broken man taking up space. He gave me a reason to keep fighting, not just for myself, but for every veteran still struggling in silence. Today, Tank visits schools and colleges to speak about military service and veteran mental health. He has already helped over 200 veterans connect with proper care and support, and while he still carries the 47 names on his arm, he now carries something else, the understanding that their sacrifice continues to hold meaning and purpose. I have one last question for you, and I'd like you to really think about it before answering in the comments below. What's the most meaningful act of kindness you've ever witnessed? A moment when someone's compassion changed everything? Share your stories in the comments, because after hearing about Tank and Judge Caprio, we could all use more reminders of the good still left in this world. If this story touched you, if Tank's sacrifice and Judge Caprio's compassion moved your heart, share this video with someone who needs that reminder today. Like this video if you believe in honoring our veterans. Subscribe for more powerful human stories that show what's possible when we choose kindness over indifference. And remember, sometimes the most impactful thing we can do is simply acknowledge someone's sacrifice and remind them that their service matters. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.